All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of On the Break. We're back again with another video for the playoffs. So, Trevon, we had a pretty exciting game last night. The series that you said is the best matchup to you, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, tell me what do you think about this series? What are your initial thoughts about this series, and how do you think is progressing? Because we've had some pretty exciting moments, and the games have been kind of crazy. So, what do you think so far?
Yeah, this is really following my prediction as far as how the series is going to go. I I knew that, well, not new, but I had a feeling that the game would at least go to six. I had confidence that, the Timberwolves could at least get two games out of this series. And my prediction was for the game to go to six, or the series to go to six, but it might actually go to seven. Um, this just seems like Minnesota. I feel like their youth is a big reason for why they're still in the game. You look at how they make their big runs, and they play pretty good defense against Memphis, in my opinion, especially on Ja. And I feel like that's the key. Ja Morant. He hasn't been able to get into the paint. He's not that great a shooter, but I feel like the defense they played on him is really limiting him and keeping him from getting to, like, the paint where he's most effective, because he was, had the highest percentage in the league in the paint, especially for guards. So the way they've been playing defense on Ja has been very key to them getting the wins that they did in this series. And like we said before, you got uh, people in Minnesota that can all go for, big games. Cat, Anthony Edwards, D'Lo can have a good game. So this is going how I predicted so far, but I still got Memphis coming out of it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I definitely have Memphis coming out of it because I really don't trust Minnesota,
Hmm.
to be honest. Uh,
Yeah.
but they are making it a tough series. Honestly, I feel like Minnesota matches up very well with Memphis in terms of, they have the long athletic players on the perimeter that can guard, and then you have Cat in the paint. But um, I man, this series gave me also what I thought it would be. Two young teams coming in. I thought that it would be something like this, where it's kind of chaotic at times, and it's kind of going back and forth at times. But the big thing for me is I don't think Minnesota finishes out quarters and finishes out halves very well. They always allow they get off to a great start every time, but they always allow Memphis to come back, um, especially in the second quarter or going into halftime, and then the third quarter they always allow them to come back or make some type of run. So uh, it's definitely going to continue to be a really good series in terms of the matchup, but I do think Ja is gonna try and come out strong, especially going back to Memphis for Game Five. Uh, but it is a really good series to watch. It can get tough to watch when Minnesota starts doing stuff that probably isn't the smartest, but it's still fun to watch the young talent do what they do.
Yeah. And the key thing is, Desmond Bain, he was really shooting crazy from
Yeah.
three last night. So they really needed that from him. And if you look at it, they only lost by 1 point, right?
Hmm.
But, Ja, the way he's shooting right now is very inefficient, only 30%, 4-13, and he missing all his threes. He only took two. But I feel like that's the next step he's going to have to take if he wants to, uplift this team and, get them past, the first round so far, because he hasn't even had that experience yet. So I think that's the next level for him. And also free throws. He's not that great a free throw shooter, especially at the end of the game. He tends to like miss a lot or split his two free throws whenever he goes. But um, I think they have a good chance, going back to Memphis and the home crowd. they have a really good chance to win. They seem like they like to play behind a little bit. It's always like they got to come and make a comeback. They're always down by like double digits, and then they'll cut it down the stretch. But I mean, they're still a young team. They got to figure it out. Um, I don't know if they'll go as far as people really thought they would. Some people kind of crown them as contenders, which they are contenders, but I just feel like they have a lot of, flaws that may keep them from getting to the conference finals any, because especially with Phoenix and Golden State.
Yeah, I'm not sure just yet if because I think this might the reason they're struggling a little bit this series is because of the matchup. Um, Minnesota has Anthony Edwards, they have Karl Anthony Towns, they have those two people, and it seems like Memphis kind of struggles guarding that tandem.
Yeah,
And then you also have D'Lo, who, when he plays well, it makes it even tougher. And then, like you said, Pat Beverly has been doing a great job on Ja, and then also attacking him on the offensive end, which, you know, when you're playing basketball, making you work on both ends, and when you're the superstar, it kind of can, uh, you know, over time kind of wear on you a little bit. But
yeah.
uh, that's one thing that I'm not sure of yet. I don't know if it's just the matchup that they got, and that's why they're looking like they're looking, or if that's kind of how they are and when it comes to playoff basketball, because the tempo does slow down and you have to run half
Mhm.
court. But we'll see. I'm not going to
Yeah.
look forward too much right now, but uh let me ask you this, Trevon. Why do you take Memphis over Minnesota right now? What's that edge that you give Memphis?
I still feel like I trust their players more than I do like for per se Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a big game now, but you don't know if it's going to continue on. And I see him complaining a lot on calls and stuff. His mentality sometimes just isn't really, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the the one that I would prefer for my star player to have.
Yeah,
I feel like you got to be strong minded in order to really come through in the playoffs. And he had a big game yesterday, but you don't know if that's going to be if it's going to be like that the next game. And then Ant's still fairly young, but he's doing his thing. I just feel like I believe Memphis has more guys that can get you over that hump than Minnesota does right now. But right now is looking real tough. It might go to 7 games. It's a very big possibility,
definitely possible.
and so I'm just sticking with my pick. Really, that's really what it is.
No, I understand, and I agree with you. I definitely trust Memphis and their players more than I do the Timberwolves, especially right
Yeah,
now. And like you brought up, Karl Anthony Towns. Honestly, man, I think Anthony Edwards is the better player. He shows up more, he's more consistent. But Cat is still talented. It's I don't know. Sometimes Cat gets on my nerves with the things he
he
does and
really gets on
what
my
he
nerve.
says, man.
He
He
really
really
gets on my
does.
nerve.
But that's probably another conversation for another day. But I do trust Memphis most definitely. And this series, honestly, it's kind of weird because I it like I definitely trust Memphis, and they seem to be more disciplined. But the Timberwolves, they're definitely not as disciplined as Memphis, but they continue to stay in the series, stay in games, or to have super big leads. They probably lose them a whole bunch, but it's so weird. It's like it's such um a small window for a big difference, if that makes sense. Like this series could easily be uh, over right now with Memphis winning
Mhm.
those few games, or it's what it is now and it's 2-2, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
I don't know if I explained it right, but the Timberwolves, man, they just don't seem as disciplined, and I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm surprised, but not surprised that they're in the position they are. But I don't know. I don't know if I just make sense
Yeah,
there or
I'm
not.
not surprised. Like I said, I expected at least 6 games out of this, just because the
Hmm.
talent on both sides. Like you said, it probably is the matchups. But my thing is, if Ja gets going, I feel like that's going to be the difference because he had a good game the first game, obviously lost, and their losses were like by you know, not that many points. But if he gets it going and figures it out, that's going to be the key because, Josh, what makes the engine go. And it seems like Memphis's like points have kind of been a little difficult.
Yeah.
That game 3 where they made that run, it was off of, defense, fast breaks, and Minnesota just got cold. But in the playoffs, you're gonna have to make those half court plays, and that's where Ja comes into play. Ja is the guy that's going to get them, to really, get in a rhythm and get those
Hmm.
points that they need. Um, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. It comes down to execution and not turning the ball over. And sometimes both sides, don't execute or turn the ball over, especially in the half court. So
Yeah.
I think whoever does that better or does that the most, taking care of the ball and executing, they're gonna win the series. So
And it don't seem like Memphis really got like a offense, if you would say. Like it seems like a lot of ball screen, read and react, make a play type stuff. And we know in the playoffs sometimes if you're not in a rhythm, that may not work out. As opposed to like a motion offense where you got the Warriors and stuff like that, where you constantly moving. Like if you look at the Warriors, like how they be playing on offense, it's like it's hell for the other team.
yeah,
You got Denver chasing everybody, getting confused on switches, having to worry about Curry and all the shooters they got. So, I'll give Memphis the benefit of the doubt because they're still young, but I think they're gonna come out of the first round.
yeah. No, I think Memphis is definitely the favorite to come out. But Timberwolves are making it tough on them. So it's an interesting series, and it seems like you were right. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.